Welcome to the Lander Bet Sports Betting Live Show. We back and we back and we back. We got live show producer Matty in the house as well. Going to bring him on in 1 second, just as we let everybody jump in here as we're going to get started. As always, jump in the comments. We want to know what you guys want to look at. We're going to be looking at plenty of stuff because we got 10 games. So we're going to get into, I imagine, each game. Matty and I have each looked at each of them. So we're going to at least have some thoughts on them, even if we don't have specifically each of us have a bet for each game. And then we've got Swish in the comments as well. But for now, Matty, how are you feeling today being back?
Well, you know how like when you go through withdrawals and you finally get the thing you're looking for? That's how I'm feeling right now. I'm excited to press the button today.
You're comparing betting on sports to crack, it sounds like. And I understand the withdrawals here for sure. You can have withdrawals from almost anything. If you have a physical reaction to not betting for a week, might need to call the number. But like at least you can get over your cold sweats now, bro, because you got what, like almost 6 units down today, I believe.
I think I got 5.5 down. I think that sounds right. I am spreading the board in a lot of cases, but I'm not betting like full units on most things. There are a couple spots where I am, but most things
got a lot of stuff that's like trimming down the unit size so you can maybe get a little bit more down and testing the waters as we get back into them, right?
Bingo.
Yep, I feel that. We got Swish in the comments. He is going to be answering as many of your questions as he can. We need to get him like 3 more arms to type 3 more keyboards so that he can get to all that stuff. But if you are going to be following along here, I'm going to bring up the SwishLand dashboard using this correct look here. And we're going to be going through what we've got on the dashboard here. So if you have any questions about anything, for sure, hit us up in the comments. We can bring stuff up on screen too. We've got plenty to look at. So I'm going to get right into things. The player dashboard has been updated tremendously. Very, very proud of our boy Swish, who's been under the hood for a while now looking at stuff. Let's, I guess the first game we should get to is that Philly game, just because it will go in order for 1 second, even though I'm not super concerned about it. This is also PropsMadness, going to be using this to check a couple of things here and there as we look at these games as a whole. But first game I'm looking at here is that Atlanta-Philly game. So pulling up who we have for their players. Do you have any starting looks in this one?
Yeah, I got a couple things I was looking at. So naturally, without Joel, I was looking at Drummond, Bona, and Watford.
Got you.
Drummond's really Drummond and Bona is like super confusing to me.
Yeah,
I feel like Drummond's line should be 8.5, not 7.5, and I feel like Bona's line should be 4.5, not 5.5. And so reading the tea leaves has me off of both of them because I don't know what to think.
Right. Totally understand that. So the bigs versus Atlanta is a look that you're considering always, I imagine. And when you
100%.
When you have no Joel, then there's usage, but like, yeah, there's not really anything to show us recently that like without Joel, that certain guys are getting more minutes. So this is a Dembona about 5 minutes over the whole, basically since like November when he's playing without Joel. This is 13 total games. We got 18 total games. It's tough because you got to look at like what was Drummond doing in those games, and it just feels like sometimes Drummond's just not getting very much run even when he's playing without Joel as well. Like if we pull up Drummond and we go without Joel Embiid, I mean 4.5 points is wild. But the minutes here for him on the season, he's only gone up 2 now in total, right? He's played some like mostly mid to high 20s, but plenty of games over here with low 20s, etc. There's some blowout issues, which I don't think is going to happen today there. But yeah, I would be staying away from anything there as well. Did you like anything in this one specifically then? Or not even?
For clarity, I was speaking specifically about rebounds.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I know I was just siphoning through sort of like the points, but the cases for anything. Yeah, 4.5 points. No one's saying no to, but it's not widely available. The rebounds, what you're talking about
for sure. Swish is mentioning Barlow, which I think is interesting.
Okay.
And then the other thing that I thought was interesting was Watford RA at 7.5 plus money. I think it makes a lot of sense if you can get him to 25 minutes, and I think we can.
Yeah, let's get back to Watford in 1 second. Then the look here on the Dominic Barlow stuff would be anything specific, either of the PR.
It just says I'm kind of tempted by those Barlow minutes lately.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's in comparison to Watford or the specific Drummond or Bona rebounds look.
Yeah.
But I do think Barlow was on a tear for a minute there.
Yeah, let's pull up Barlow without he definitely was, and I think that was without Joel as well. I mean, that was a big game here without Joel. This is all without Embiid. Points at 10.5, probably getting close to fair. Just it is tempting by the minutes. And then you got the easy matchup for sure. So you can add that to everything. He was a rebounding machine for a second. Now he's just kind of back to whatever. I think points and rebounds 15.5. Not a bad look. I don't know how to get there specifically with him. If we look at we're not going to have much for him because he doesn't even really always get lines. So there's not going to be much that we can look at there. But we can pull up Wofford as well. And I'm going to keep an eye on the comments here. But do you have a thought on Wofford outside of specifically RA, right?
Yeah, I think if you can get him to 25 minutes, RA makes a lot of sense at 7.5.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. He's had a few lines that were a bit, I guess, lower. But yeah, it's tough to just sort of like sift through when we've got Joel, no Joel. These are a lot, actually. Last two without Joel and a bunch without PG as well, obviously. That helps. The only thing that scares me about Wofford, I know that like he's often popular in the chat and in the Discord, is just like Quentin Grimes is also around. There's just all these guys coming in that are on the wing that scare me. But if you have an affinity for Wofford and you hit him a bunch, there's plenty of 100-to-1s out there if he does his thing. So I feel that. But yeah, I didn't. I really don't have anything specific. Oh, I'm sorry. I did have something in this game, and it's somewhat related to Joel being out, and I'll get to that before we again jump into those comments. See if anybody has anything they want to look at here. Like let's start. My man Dave here. He's talking about Jalen Johnson. I do want to look at him in a second. I'm gonna start that comment. But what I'm looking at then is Onyeka. And I just took him on the points. I believe it's straight 15.5 now. I don't know if there's is FanDuel still holding a 14.5 on Onyeka?
Let's see here.
Yeah, it does look like they still are. Yeah, and and they are the only book. Shout out to Swish, who recently updated this as recently as last night, so that every 20 minutes we get the update on the odds pulling through for these books. So as far as the 14.5, wow, that's only available still on FanDuel. That's crazy that they're still hanging that. I think the 14.5 here would say buy. And this is where it's kind of like for him, his number has basically been 14.5 pretty much recently. He's only played 2 or 3 games since he came back from injury. First one was against Charlotte. He ended with 16 points on a 13.5 point line. That was probably low because he's coming back from injury. And Charlotte's a good opponent, so it was pretty low for Onyeka there. And then you look at the T-Wolves game, that went up to 15.5. That was, I believe there was probably a couple guys missing. Maybe Jalen or somebody was missing in that game against the Wolves. That sort of raised Onyeka's because you wouldn't normally see that. Yeah, Dyson Daniels and Jalen Johnson were missing in this game. So it went to 15.5 against the Wolves and then back down to 14.5 against Charlotte. And I think you've seen 15.5 for him recently against like better teams. That to the point where like now at 14.5, I look at that number straight up and I just go, I like this 14.5 as is. So I bet that on him without Embiid. Like their defensive rating without Embiid is also about 3.5 points per 100 worse. They're like 117.5 defensive rating, not very good without him. Don't have much down low. So I do think Onyeka's going to be able to score in various ways, whether he's bullying Bona or he's sort of just taking Drummond from the 3-point line all the way in, whatever. I do like him on the points there. So let's see about the Jalen Johnson stuff. And if you do have anything else in this game, definitely throw it out there. I know y'all are getting your info from Swish as well. So make sure you do tag at Swish Info. But if you want something that you want to talk about on screen, then definitely do that. And one way to do it, honestly, Juki, is like if you put it in all caps, I'm probably going to be able to find it easier. No lie. So like I see you on this with Jock. The thing about Jock is that his last few minutes, last few games with Onyeka getting full minutes, he saw like nothing for minutes, right? Against the Hornets, he saw 19, against the T-Wolves 18, and against the Hornets here 17. So if his minutes are less than 20 or even at 20 with Onyeka playing full, I have no reason to think Onyeka's not playing full in this one after he did 3 games in a row, had a week off. So I feel you that like that would be the issue. I'm honestly not scared of that specifically, but the Jalen stuff that Dave brought up, let me pull up JJ for a second. He intrigued me too. Did you have any thoughts on Jalen?
I thought Jalen was pretty fair. Was it the points we were talking about?
The question was actually on the board specifically at 10.5. That was actually one of my less favorite bets. What are your thoughts on either board specifically or anything else?
Yeah, I looked at Jalen for everything today, and I couldn't pick a thing to bet on for Jalen Johnson. And I wanted to find someone to bet on for Atlanta outside of a Congo, which I did bet as well. I think that's a great look.
Yeah.
But everything just seemed pretty fair. And the rebounds, I think, actually are a bit expensive, if I
Yeah,
remember correctly.
I
I'm
agree.
looking at it now.
Yeah,
So that's what kept me off. I will say there is probably some room for some upside just because you're without Joel, but
yeah,
I think you're starting to guesstimate, and I don't think I personally am not comfortable guesstimating when I'm
yeah.
placing a bet.
Yeah, it's fair. I mean, Philly plays slowly. There's not always a ton of possessions, so there's always not always a ton of chance for rebounds. They are worse on offense without Joel too, so maybe there's a few more missed shots. But the 10.5 is expensive, and we know that when we look here and we go, okay, he was 9.5 against the Hornets before he was 10.5 against the Hornets. He was basically 10.5 against the Jazz, right? So this is a really easy team to rebound against in the Jazz, and then tough opponent here against the Hornets, even though they were without Musa and Miles Bridges, I would add. But the key here is like, look at his expected. The expected here is based on his rebound chances. He should be expected to get this many actual rebounds. So against the Hornets for 2 games, he didn't even really get to an expected rebound projection of 10, for example, much less 11 that he needs. Philly going to be worse than the Hornets, no question. But again, the Hornets without Musa and without Miles Bridges, I have a bet on that today because I like that they're out, and I think they're going to be easier to rebound against than normal. So I think this should be for him on the boards. It should be like 9.5, maybe 10.5 if you're getting really good odds, which I don't think you are. It's basically minus 130. Like that to me is just expensive on the boards. The assists open at 7.5. That's gone. No point in talking about it. 8.5 is fair, but when it was 7.5, that was a buy spot for me with his dimes. But that's just not the case right now. Philly bad limiting assists specifically too, which is helpful. But all right, and then there was the Jalen. I thought I saw one other thing. I think
There was a comment about
VJ.
VJ
The generator.
rebounds. I thought his rebounds were also pretty expensive, and so I stayed off.
Expensive.
Yeah.
5.5. Yeah. When you're just used to seeing it at 4.5, right? Like, so this says 4.8 against the Knicks because it was a 4.5 line, and the fact that the Knicks are good makes that number go up, right? In the sense that like it's actually harder to get rebounds. It's more like he needs a few more to compensate for how good the Knicks are at limiting rebounds. This team not as good. The 5.5 actually looks like 5.3, but it's still just not much of an edge. I don't know. Maybe if you come to PropsMadness and you see something for VJ where you maybe see like guards get a bunch of rebounds against this team or something to that effect, maybe that's how you get there with it. Let's look at rebounds for VJ, and we can look at him without Joel just for kicks. Let me pull this over here a little bit. If we see this is like 5.5, which is fair. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, this is a bad rebounding team in general. They do give up like the 8th most rebounds to guards. I think that's a little bit of noise, though. I don't really think there's much to that. So I don't see much there for VJ, not EJ. Let me see if there's anything else that was in the comments. Did you scroll through stuff, see if there was anything, or should we move on?
VJ was really the only thing that I saw.
Yeah. Let's try to answer this real quick, just because it's up.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to Philly because this is something we can check directly on the dashboard. Is if we pull up Joel and his out tag, Justin Edwards, Drummond is going to pull up. I mean, Watford is the guy that's interesting too. These are the guys who go up in minutes when they play without Joel. Jabari isn't playing, so you can kind of ignore that. I think you focus on like Drummond, Watford, and Bona. Those would be the guys that you consider getting the bump from the Joel being out, right? Minutes wise, especially. But now again, like this Drummond stuff to me was from earlier in the season. I can't remember if Bona was out or if he just wasn't playing, but Drummond was just getting starter minutes and run when Joel was out at the very beginning of the season, and there was also no Bona for a while. So I think this is a little bit skewed, and I think it's just nobody really, like at this point, like Maxi's probably just going to get a few more shots. He's at 30.5 if you want to roll with it. This is a game where if he was at 27 or 28 even, I might take him. But like, I don't know, Dyson Daniels playing him. I'm good on all that. So all right, let's scroll to a next game. Did you have one that interested you more than another?
Do you want to go to? I mean, I know you have one in Houston, Charlotte, which I also agree with, and I have one other lean in that game.
Yeah, there's stuff to talk about in Houston, Charlotte. So the key here for Houston, Charlotte is that there is no Musa or our boy Miles Bridges. So if we look at Charlotte stuff here versus Houston. This is a tough opponent on both sides. Houston is the third best team limiting scoring and assist opportunities. They're the fifth best team limiting rebounding opportunities. And they actually are the number one rebound rating team, right? So they have the best rebound rate in the league. They play at the third slowest pace. They're the fifth best defense, the ninth best offense, although I would argue this ninth best offense has gone somewhat down the toilet. So we'll see how that goes for them. Maybe they just needed to like rest it up for a week and not play basketball, and now they're going to be better. Who knows? But they haven't been impressive. So the thing I like the most, though, with Charlotte missing both of their best rebounders, I would argue, in Miles and Musa, is rebounds on the other side for Alpi Şengün. So if that should still be 8.5. And you can still get like minus 125 on Fanatics. But if you want to go to a real book, which actually maybe that's, because Fanatics isn't around. Which one are they now? Whatever they are now. Anyway, 8.5 everywhere, right? And it's juiced a little bit, but I still think it's good at 8.5. I've been basically eyeing 8.5 rebounds for Alperen Şengün since our boy Steven Adams went down. And Adams went down like right around this Memphis game, maybe the game before. So it's been roughly about 10 games that he's been playing without Steven Adams. In those 10 games, you can see this expected line right here, way above. Like, this was a perfect moment in time to keep hitting the Alperen Şengün rebounds. And this is like the moments in time where this line graph really stands out and points you right to a bet, which is like, look at what he's been doing here. He's been getting enough rebound chances. In this game against Atlanta, for example, he had 25 rebound chances. The P rebs down here, potential rebounds. Like, and he was lined in that game at 9.5 boards, right? So he got enough rebound chances to expect him to get like 15 boards almost. That's when you go, okay, next game against Dallas, absolutely you hit this rebounds, which was at like 8.5 against Dallas. That's insane that they lined it there. Yeah, it was lined at 8.5 again against Dallas. I was hitting this consistently for him pretty much this whole time since then, when it was at 8.5. When it hit 9.5 or so, like against Boston or even the Pacers, I definitely hit. But against Boston, all right, I stay away from 9.5, but I hit 8.5, and that's what it's been all throughout here. Even got down to 7.5. Nope, it was still 9.5 against the Clippers. This was the expected. Excuse me. So yeah, 9.5, maybe stay away, but we're back down to 8.5. This is a buy spot, and you see that Miles and Musa are out. So that's my long-winded explanation. I believe you said you liked that one as well, but feel free to jump in with that, or if you wanted to move to the next one.
Yeah, I bet that one as well. I think it's probably the best bet of the night, honestly.
I like it.
I did have a small lean toward Amin or Alperen points. Okay. I think one of them two is going to go off, and I don't know which one of it is, but I lean toward Amin, because I feel like Alpi's probably going to get boxed, would be my guess.
Gotcha.
And so I think they're probably going to have Amin or give Amin the opportunities to shoot.
Yep.
And I think what's that?
No, go ahead, please.
I think his number's already low. I think both numbers are low, by the way. Right. I think there's a little bit room on Alpi's side, but I think Amin at 15.5 points is a hit for me.
Got you.
And then Swish is saying he's partial to Tari. I don't disagree with that. I just think Amin's probably going to have the most opportunities to shoot. I don't know if he'll actually shoot it, though.
Yeah. A lot of that is going to the rim. I imagine them being better at limiting guys off ball, right? Than they are limiting guys on ball. So you're looking for that kind of specific matchup to help you against the Hornets defense, which makes sense to me. I mean, between Amin and Tari, I feel like there's a lot of similarity there that trips me up with which one to bet on. But Swish is in a similar mindset as where you're at when he says that, I think, right? Those two types of players in a game like this. Yeah, exactly. Like, being partial to Tari isn't really like, man, I'm really into it. So, because honestly, I'm going to come in off the top rope and say, I think Jabari at 13.5 is low. And I think a lot of this is low because we're talking about, right now, a really good rated defense. What's their rating on overall? I guess they're 16th right now still, but they're really good at limiting rebounds. They're not great down low. I mean, they've got Kalkbrenner now down there too.
That's the thing. That's what's got me leaning toward Amin for sure.
No rim protection. Yeah, amen for Amin for sure. He's gonna have to learn how to shoot, just Fred. Like, you really gotta be able to shoot in the NBA, man. It's like so important. It's crazy how important it is to be able to shoot. All right. I mean, as far as anything on it sounds like we're waffling enough that like this looks low at 13.5 more than anything to me. And like even the PR, I think that's the number where I find the most value. So if you're talking about guys like just having, let me get to Jabari real quick. If you're talking about like, okay, 3 to 4 to 5 guys that I all think look good to bet on the same team, but like then I'm just looking for who do I think has the best value essentially. So I personally think the numbers are the lowest for Jabari compared to what he normally does, which is play 30s, play as a starter, get the full starter minutes, etc. So yeah, I don't know where to go. But anything on the other side that would intrigue you? I'm gonna slip through these
No,
comments
I
too.
couldn't get there with anything Charlotte. I really wanted to, but
Yeah.
everything was very like where you're talking about where it feels like Houston took the cut on the points, and I feel
Yeah.
like some of the things for Charlotte might be inflated.
Yeah. Yep. For
Which
sure.
is wild to me in a game that has what a 218 point total.
Yeah. So looking at Charlotte, like inflated in terms of that their line is.
Yeah, like I think what Miller is at like 21 and a half, 22 and a half
Yeah.
points, and that's just wow.
The model likes him in this one a lot. Looking at Brandon here, 22 and a half. Yeah. I think once you get to 23, 24, that's when I go, whoa, that's expensive for Brandon Miller. But 22 and a half against a good defense, I would say
Yeah,
that's where you're coming from, right?
bingo.
Yeah. And the Rebs at 4.5 is low because again, really tough rebounding matchup against this squad. Not as easy as this game against Atlanta, where he had 12 rebound chances, but just and 9 boards. Like that's running pretty hot on the rebound chances there.
See,
On the
Swish
board.
is smarter than me. He said, "I assume that's to do with Miles redistribution, I cannot talk. Redistribution, which makes a lot of sense."
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, like Miles just not being in is just we're just getting a whole bunch of stuff going Miles' way. So, yeah, I don't think there's quite as much in this one as far as looks for this game specifically. A couple injury updates so that you want to bring up, right? You got Trey Jones.
Yeah. So Jalen Smith is in, Trey Jones is in, and Josh Giddey is in.
I got you. And Giddy's in.
Yep.
That's a big one.
Did I list that one? Yeah, I did. Okay.
You might have. Yeah, that was the first one we put up. Yep. And Josh Gidey is in as well. So that totally makes sense. Yeah, let's keep it rolling. Make sure you guys are jumping in the comments if you have anything you want to go through. Going to keep all that up. Yeah, the assist for Şengün too was something that people were looking at. And I'll just give a quick response to this one too, from Robert. Like I do like Jabari. I haven't bet him, but he is a sort of more of a favorite of mine on the team. I know Matt usually bets like Amin before he bets somebody like Jabari, just and Reed for like there's guys we've gone back to consistently.
Yeah.
Jabari is somebody that I've been like playing at these low numbers for a while because I remember him at the beginning of the season being at like 15 and a half, right? And anytime he's even at like 5 or 6.5 boards, I think we're in consideration for Jabari. So 20.5 points and rebounds combined. If you get 19 and a half in some books too, like I'm there with that with Jabari in this one. So all right, let's see what else we got to do. All right, next game. You brought us to this one because I had some looks, but if you have look in a different one, we can go there.
You want to go to Brooklyn, Cleveland?
Yeah, you might be flying dolo on that one, brother. Talk to me.
No, I have in my notes. This is probably a full stay away from me, because Brooklyn's likely tanking and Cleveland is rolling out a new look with Mobley back and Harden, and the 16-point spread. However, I think Merrill's cheap. I think Tyson's cheap, and I think Dennis is super live because of the 16-point spread. And then last but not least, I think we have a Hugo spot in Keon Ellis at 4.5 points.
I want to buy it. I really want to buy that. I really do. I just don't feel like let me hear your reasoning before I say anything.
I just think
I want to buy all of it. I want to buy all of what you just said. Let me start with Schroeder.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you believe in that? Do you believe that he is the guy that's going to get minutes in a blowout?
I believe that I placed a bet before we went live. I was literally talking to 101 Anderson. I don't know if he's in here about the first quarter spread because I think Cleveland's about to blow the doors off this Brooklyn team.
I think so too.
And I believe because of that, someone's going to have to play the other half of the game. And I think Dennis is probably going to get that call.
It's just they were up by 16, 15 at the half, 19 going into the fourth. And I'm still looking at Donnie 28, James Harden 28. And then, these guys are shooting 100% from the field for the love of God. So like, I just don't feel like I learned anything about this game. Like Tyson might seem low because he has been low all season, but 21 minutes is a direct result of like, look how many guys are playing off the bench. And if that's the case in this game, like even Keon Ellis, Keon Ellis. Yeah, 4.5 for Keon Ellis might make sense. 4 shots is terrifying.
Yes.
But if he's going to play 27 minutes, he got legit minutes in this game anyway. But man, like Dennis Schroeder was my pick last game. Obviously, 1 for 5 doesn't help. But like he had 4 free throw attempts and still only 7 points, only 18 minutes because he didn't touch the end of the game. Like he didn't come back in the fourth when they were up. Because I was on this last game in this one that I'm looking at right here with Washington, so I'm just terrified of them. I don't feel like you can bank on Merrill going 11 for 12, but maybe he's going to be featured in such a way that whatever. Like this game, just this one right here, I was like, I didn't bet Jared Allen, but I bet something else. Yeah, I bet the Schroeder stuff. I just felt like I got burned in a way that I was like, I thought I had a beat on what was going to happen here, and a lot of it is what you just said, and I was just, it was off, right? So
I'm definitely taking Keon Ellis over 4.5 points. That just feels incredibly free.
It's very low. I don't know how many minutes he's going to play, but it's very low.
Yeah, I'll take the risk on that. Like,
makes sense.
In the same way that I took the Hugo bet. I think it's low, and I'm going to shoot my shot.
Get it. I mean, they've got him at 6 here, right? In just 16 minutes. Just based on some of the recent stuff he's done as well. So yeah, I think there's no reason to think that the 27 minutes was a fallacy. Like they have him. I would say he was more important to the trade than Schroeder from the Kings. Like he was the prize in the what they received there more than anything. So yeah, I think this is Keon Ellis is going to continue to get minutes as their best wing defender now, alongside Jalen Tyson, who it just terrifies me that he played 21 minutes. So that's the thing
interesting. And let me know your thoughts on this. Royal Flush Terry mentioned MPJ under on points with the tanking factor. I think he's the only one who might score. And I'm terrified to take an under, but it's not because of like the tanking factor. I just think he's probably going to be the primary scorer if they put up points. So I don't like Sharp specifically tonight because he's going to be dealing with Jarrett Allen and Mobley in his face. He could get to the free throw line for sure and get past, I think he's at 10.5 totally, but you'd be sweating it, I imagine. I think he was. I could be wrong. I stayed off of it.
Now. I think that down from 12.5, Matt. I think that's what happened too. Yeah, I remember last night he was at 12.5. So the market's agreeing with what you're saying.
I would think MPJ is the only person who might score for Brooklyn. So personally, just for that reason, I'm staying off of it.
Yeah, I mean, what's funny, I'm gonna call you Terry. What's funny is that the tanking and the blowout are kind of the same thing at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not kind of, they are, right? And the thing is like this game has blowout written all over it, even if they weren't quote unquote tanking. Because what does tanking even mean for this team? Every box score is Michael Porter Jr. with 24 shots and 24 points, and nobody else with more than 10. That's every Brooklyn box score, right? So, like, yes, to your point, this is the one dude that you might be scared to bet on. But we've also got this blowout fade here, where when they lose by like more than 8 or more points, essentially, or whatever, like he's looking at 6 fewer minutes on average in those games. And so I do think he is turning into a blowout fade, especially as of late. So that would be one thing to just sort of put that in support of what you're saying here, Royal Flush Terry, which is, I think MPJ, if he's high enough, is he still 23.5 is the question?
Yeah, I think he's at 23.5.
24.5 would be where I'm like, okay, this 24.5 is sort of that pivotal number for me with him. What does the model think? The model thinks 23.5 is fair for this dude. It's saying that at 23.5 number, that's fair, and there's real no edge either way. What happened in this Washington game? He played 31 when they won by 14. But again, he's been playing like 35. So yeah, I think it's a good fade. I don't love Cleveland's defense either way. I think 23.5 is a stay away. But if this was 24.5, I think you're on to something with that look there. So I want to look at this from Andre too, because he's saying Harden assists. Look at his points because he at his points many L because he traded. Let me know what you meant by that. I know it's a typo. But the assist is what interests me in the Harden stuff too.
Totally agree.
I wanted to play that last game under the pretense that like 7.5 is low when you're playing the Wizards anyway. And the it seems like this kind of like when James Harden doesn't need to go all out, then it does make sense that he's just going to be distributing, especially on a new team. That's usually the angle with Harden when he comes to a new spot too. 7.5 is low for him because the whole season he's been at 8.5 or 9.5. So when you see this buy number on the model at 7.5, that's because mostly saying buy because everything before this, these 7.5s when he went to Cleveland were 8.5, 8.5, 8.5 when he was on the Clippers. And so coming to this team, it's almost like, well, there's better players around him now on offense. So wouldn't you expect him to actually get more dimes than he even had in those other games? But the market doesn't know what to do with him on a new team. This is a blowout. Last game he had 13 potential assists that ended with 11. This is a terrible team. Like Brooklyn is a defense you can get stuff on. So I think the 7.5 is a Bible number here, a Bible number. They even like the points. I don't know if he did that with anything with the points last game. He had 20. We only scored 13. He shot really poorly, right? Am I in the right game? Yeah. Wow, he only took 4 shots. Right. That's why he had a low expectation. All right. Yeah, I think the assist for Harden is a good look. I just don't know if I'm on that. So with the blowout stuff, it's kind of like there's so many factors that could work against me there. Anything else? Yeah, we got to move on past this one. Let's keep it rolling.
Yeah, totally.
Are you good? Yeah, you had your stuff in there. Cool. Just to let y'all know this dashboard, we do have the free trial up on the site. So if you do want to try it out and test it out, you can just head over to landyourbets.com. That's where we got the SwishLand dashboard via our man Swish, who's in the comments. If you want to hit him up, definitely tag at Swish. He's in there. And then if you do want to get anything on the show as well that we want to look at on screen, just tag Matty here at the Matt Stevens. Right? It's not at the Rio. It's just at the Matt Stevens on the chat there on YouTube, and he'll be able to find your comment. Anything that you see in the comments, maybe Matty, that you might want to lead us to the next game?
Let's see here. What do we have? Let me find the first one who pops up. Everyone, Paul Reed over. Here we go. We can go to the Detroit game.
Yeah. Oh my God. In my head for a second, Paul Reed was on Philly. Yeah, no, he's on Detroit now. All right, Detroit and the Knicks. This might be a tough one, but
yeah.
What do you have a thought on B-ball Paul? Is this over any? Like, I was looking at an under for B-ball Paul. Let me start there. So off top, we're not in agreement, but let's see if we dig into it more.
Let's see. First, he's talking about rebound. No, that's a different person. But someone said Paul Reed under on rebounds, which is what I'm not taking under on rebounds, first of all, but I'm fading the rebounds on the Detroit side because I'm with you on Mitch Rob. I think 7.5 is just too low. Just point blank period. I will, every time I get 8+, I'm taking it. I don't like at minus 140, I'm taking it. On the Detroit side, though, and I sent you this, and I sent this to our group chat as well. I'm looking at Ron Holland over 3.5 rebounds. I just think that number is too low.
Mm-hmm.
It's a super, super small sample size. Let me be very clear. But if you have,
do you want to share real quick too? I know we didn't do that. If it's too much right now, no worries. I just was offering it if you wanted to.
Let me see if I can put it together really quickly.
Sorry to interrupt you. I also didn't. I did bet Mitch Rob earlier, and I did not put that down on the card, and I'm annoyed with myself. Mea culpa to everybody.
I did not mean to do that. What did I do here? Oh, there we go. How do I set this up again? Oh, it's present and invite, right? Is that correct?
There you go. You got it.
And then I want to set up my share screen, specifically my. Is that working?
Asar. Going through the comments a little bit too. Sneaky look for Asar over what? Juki, let me know what you're talking about there. Astronauts took Paul Reed on the over on the PRA. Man, it's just a tough opponent, man. It scares me with Paul Reed. Like B-Ball Paul, while he has one of the best nicknames in basketball with B-Ball Paul, man, I don't think he's that good. Just because he's gonna be, and also he hasn't really been getting those minutes. I guess when he's played without both Stewart and Duren like he is tonight. Then you are talking about him getting like 30-something minutes. But like not that often. Like this game right here against Toronto was missing both of them, and he played 33 there. This one was missing neither. There's one recently as well where this one without Duren, they won by 38, so maybe that's tough to gauge. I don't trust his minutes just because he's the only center. Honestly, like I don't. I think they'll play a little bit smaller when they need to at times. I'm just trying to see. Yeah, this is what I was looking at with him going to Paul Reed for a sec. Like if you look at his numbers without them, are you ready to go too? I'm just I was
stalling.
Yeah.
I'm fine whenever you're ready to go.
Like B-Ball Paul has played 30. Let's say he plays 28 plus. He's actually only played like 30 plus these 3 games. He's got great numbers against the Bulls. He bullied, I think like probably some Sandro. I don't even know if Sandro played in this game. I know they were missing centers. Maybe there was some Pirtle in this one, but he didn't. He did fine against Toronto in a nice win. Went 10 for 17. 17 shots is wild. And then Cleveland, 30 minutes, didn't do much. This is a team much closer to the Knicks defense down low than either of the teams he went over against. And then you look at the boards, like still no get, like not, it was 9.5. Okay, this got pushed down. When it was 9.5, I was like, you guys are smoking here. That's crazy. If you think 9.5 rebounds for Paul Reed against the Knicks, who are like the 5th best team limiting rebounds overall. So I would be fading Paul Reed. I'll leave it at that. And then you can bring up your screen if you want here, Matty.
Yeah.
Go for it.
So I'm not per se fading his number and taking it under on Paul Reed, but that's not the person I'll be going on for rebounds, because I think that his number 1 is inflated, just 2 because Jalen Duren's not there. And then 3, like what Josh just said, I don't like taking rebounds against the Knicks team because I think Mitch Rob is a demon and Carl is going crazy right now. However, what we can do is target someone who maybe has a deflated line or has a line that has not completely adjusted. And I think that's what we found in Ron. So I'm actually taking over 3.5 rebounds for Ron Holland, because without Jalen, super small sample size here. And somebody's about Cade, and I'll add Cade in here and take Cade out. I'll add Cade in a second. He's at 5.4 rebounds on this sample size. So if we add Cade in, it's only 4 games, but he is at 5.3 rebounds. I think we have room here. And if you look at this, he is at 4.54 on the model. This was saying buy earlier. It's not there. But point being is I think that we probably have room to some cushion here with this line that I don't know that's actually been adjusted. And I'd be curious to hear Swish's take on this. I think this number is incredible because you don't have Jalen, you don't have Isaiah Stewart. And someone mentioned, and I don't have it right in front of me, asked me specifically about Cade Cunningham's rebound without Duren Stewart. I think that's super possible, but at that point, I think you probably just take his PRA, because I think he's going to be. I was leaning his points anyway, because this is super basic, never do this type capping, but who else is going to score? So that's what kept me off of it, because I didn't want that to be the only reason I took it. I will say the market has moved in my favor for Cade points. So if I were to take his rebounds, which I'm not, I would just do PRA. Swish says, I'm curious who plays what minutes for Detroit. But yeah, model 4.5 looks great at 3.5. Yeah, I think if we can get Ron to just 25 minutes, I think it's very possible. And I think 25 minutes without Isaiah and Jalen is super, super possible. The model has him projected at 24 minutes. Hey, that's just what we need. Yeah. I think honestly, what's that?
No, yeah, I'm agreeing.
Honestly, let's see if we can get it to what would happen if we capped him at 24 minutes in just under 20. I mean, you're still at 5 rebounds. That's without taking out Jalen and Isaiah. And in this sample size, you can't do 19 to 24 minutes because he's averaging 26. So yeah, I'm all on Ron for 3.5 boards. That's probably my favorite play in this game.
Damn.
Just because I don't think it's been adjusted.
Love the conviction.
All right, I'm throwing this back to you.
All right, yeah, and I just want to apologize to some people. I think some people were asking me earlier in the chat about when games were going to be up or when bets were going to be up. I had my bets up last night. Looks like in some of the back end stuff, those bets were not. They were taken down incorrectly. But I just refreshed what I had put up last night at like 11 p.m. So also, if you're in the this is a good reason to be in the Discord. If you are in the Discord, you'll have two places to get all the bets or all the blogs or all that stuff. So I definitely recommend joining the Discord. If you also want to join the free Discord, that's great. But if you are in the VIP, highly recommend making sure that you are in there, because those bets have been up since last night, and due to some clerical error here, they were taken down incorrectly. But all right, let's get back into it here. Like I said, everything you need is also in the description of the video. So if you want to check any of that stuff out, go ahead. We do have a limited time offer for the rest of today. If you do sign up for anything right now, there's a 25% off access for the rest of the season. So you just get a continuous code that rolls over if you're interested in checking stuff out. I'm supposed to make sure that that's clear, that it's up only the rest of tonight. So once it says it's tomorrow in your area, you won't have access to the 25% off deal. But this is all up on landyourbets.com for those interested. So still looking for y'all's bets. Let me go to a game where I know I have one here.
While you're doing that, I just dropped the Discord link in the chat.
Cool.
That should work. If it doesn't, someone tag me and I will get a new one.
Dope. All right, I'm gonna make myself unpopular for a minute. I'm gonna go to this San Antonio and Phoenix game, and I'm gonna pull up Victor Wembanyama, and I'm going to talk about how I faded him on the 11.5 boards, which is still basically 11.5. So I didn't really expect this to get quote unquote CLV, because I don't think there's many people looking to bet unders against Victor Wembanyama, so that makes total sense. But 11.5 has been too high for him on the rebounds, straight up. Like to quote, what is it? Major League? It's too high. It's just too high. So if you've got all of these, like the adjusted closing line has basically been 11.5, 11.5, maybe 10.5, 10.5, 11.5, right? It's been basically like 11.5 or 10.5. It's 11.5 against the Suns. The model's telling you to sell because it's been basically 10.5 at times as well, because that's what the line has been. The market has said his line is. And now we're coming up against a Suns team that is much better at limiting rebounds than teams like the Dubs. Even the Mavericks here are the second easiest team to rebound against overall. So based on his rebound chances and just the expected, like if you just look at the expected here, based on his rebound chances that he's been getting, he's rarely expected to get 11.5 or 12 rebounds. And I just think in this matchup that playing a slow-paced team just seems like a good under spot for him. I'm going to keep looking for the right spots to hit him under 11.5 boards. Really just that simple. Not sure if anyone is going to give anything close to two shits on that one, but that's where I'm at. So, oh, wow. And actually, Astronads agrees with me. I completely agree that I like the over on the points a bit more. We have him at 24 here. He's been chucking, right? And a lot of these projection is like, look at the projected points based on how many shots he's been taking alone. 25.7 against the Mavs. Was this a blowout? Yeah. Well, they won by 13, played 27 minutes in that one, but played big minutes in these other games, and has been putting up shots for sure. So it's been higher than the expected. 22.5 is still a good over, even though this says hold, like Phoenix's defense is good. So this is not a good matchup to go up against, but Dylan Brooks isn't around. I bet Dylan Brooks would be the guy guarding him. Also, like the Dylan Brooks absence for the Wemby boards, Dylan Brooks is going to miss 13 shots every game. It's going to happen because he's going to take enough. So he's not going to be out there to add to the rebound chances that are going to be available. So I do like that under there. But anything in this game at all interests you? I've got one here in the comments too, which we can get to in a sec.
The things that I have written down, which I haven't actually bet them outside of champs, is Dylan Harper over 9.5 points. I just think it's too low. Again, for a guy who's probably going to take 6 shots, I'm okay with taking it over on 9.5 points.
Okay.
And I think 6 shots is very, very, very conservative.
But this is where the model totally agrees with you, right? Because it's saying 9.5 is a buy spot because it's been 10.5 pretty consistently over the last 4 or 5 games. So the 10.5 number, right? And granted, some of those games were without Stephon Castle, so you want to keep that in mind. Actually, no, he never even missed a game. We all thought he was going to miss, and then he never did. So he actually has been playing with everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, the only one who was out was Vassell for a moment, but I think he's Dylan's been cooking even with Vassell back. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I think 9.5 points is just too low. So I'm probably going to take it. I had champs written down for over 3.5 rebounds, but I had it written that it was juicy. I got it at minus 150. It's now, I think, like super gone. I'll have to look. But 3.5 rebounds for champs was crazy. Yeah, it's at 4.5 boards now. No, you can still get a 3.5 at minus 152 at DraftKings.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that is a very, very good look, especially if you think Wemby's going under and him and Mark Will are just going to be fighting. I think 3.5 is a good look for Julian.
I was thinking, where can I go to get the rebounds over that I think is the result of Wemby going under? and I wanted to go to like a Keldon Johnson. I think he's at like 5 or 6.5. And I was like, eh. And then, yeah, Shams has just been, I guess, really low. Have his minutes just dropped off the face of the earth or what? Because this was 28. Yeah, they have. Okay. They have, because of the return of Vassell. It was always the Vassell stuff for him. So
well, no, we were betting the PR with Vassell in.
Right.
I think he's at 6.5 boards at his peak.
Yeah. So yeah, the 3.5 is going to look like a buy for sure. And then yeah, I think the points 6.5 is still low seeming, but yeah, I mean, Phoenix still a good defense. I don't know if I'm going there with it. De'Aaron Fox is not a guy that I've bet on. I just want to make sure we answer a question here in the comments.
I had it pulled up as well.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on De'Aaron Fox? I truly don't. I've been trying to find more of an angle for like when to bet him, if anything. And I do not like, sometimes with a guy like him, it'll be like, oh, when they really need their point guard to, I don't have it. He's still just,
I want to say something controversial.
Yeah. And the last one I just want to make real quick, and then I want to hear what you're saying is D Fox to me is now coming across as like I'm just here when you need me guy. Not even like in a bad way, not like Alex Caruso level, but almost Alex Caruso as a starter, where it's like, I'm here when you need me, y'all. And like, we're so stacked that like, I'm not going to be De'Aaron Fox on the Kings anymore, taking, 22 shots ever. That's where I'm at with him.
That 100% correlates with what I was about to say.
Go for it.
I think when they went to go get De'Aaron Fox, they wanted a person who could be a sniper from deep. And I think they realized they had that with Vassell and Champs lately.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Champs when he was hot, he was taking a lot of the shots that Fox would have had an opportunity to, or maybe Fox is a magnet to the other defenders in that moment too. And then Vassell obviously has been a monster earlier in the year as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's eating some of the points for De'Aaron specifically.
It makes sense. I also, for De'Aaron, he's going to be a guy that I think when he came here, it was a little bit more about him controlling the offense, driving to the rim, that kind of thing, really helping Wemby grow, helping this like a veteran guard be there as they brought in guys like they brought up Vassell, they brought up Castle now, and even Dylan Harper. And he's just sort of the adult in the room, as I like to say. So to me, the thing that would be the key here is how often is he driving? Because I don't disagree that like they needed a guard who could shoot as well. But De'Aaron Fox's shooting came later in his career, as in like a little bit more recently. So like either way, I'm just going to the drives for a minute, because this is kind of, I think, a pretty telling sign. Yeah, he's still at 12.5 drives. Okay. I don't want to like just totally trash him. It's just the usage isn't like so super there in a way that makes me want to bet him. So I'm going to get off of that one. But if there is nothing else, we do have Shams, talking about Fox under points over assists. That's kind of how I view him right now anyway, just from a broad standpoint. So let's go to this Boston game. I don't know if there's
hang on. There's one question from Go See Mike. I'm just trying to find it.
Okay.
He was asking, I can't find it on here. Here it is. Jalen Green points seem pretty high considering he's only gone past 14.5 in his debut. What do books know that we do not? Better question, what do the trainers know? I don't have an answer to that. I haven't bet Jalen Green since the time that he was rolled out where I had bet him. Mm-hmm. At 13.5, I don't know that 13.5 is high, in my opinion. I mean, he's obviously not shooting well. But I think where specifically the Spurs are vulnerable is above the break. And I think that's probably the reason we're getting a 13.5 line. Because if you put this line at 12.5 or 11.5, I think it's getting hit over. Be my guess.
Yeah, because it's hovering 13 and 14. I think it's a super valid question because you're not going to, so you were saying Jalen Green, the matchup specific to like where he's scoring potentially, right? Like above the break and such.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's going to be baked into a line, right? I don't think that's going to move a market. So I think what you're looking at here is off.
Brooks being Brooks is out. That's probably it.
There you go. So Dylan Brooks is out, but Dylan Brooks being out is 1 to 2 points for him. What I'm getting at is he was 11.5 here on a clear 20-minute restriction. He was 11.5 here on a clear 20-minute restriction and 12.5, right? So the number here is basically 11 or 12.5 when we know that he's on this 20-minute restriction.
Right.
I haven't seen any intel that he's off of this restriction. I haven't seen intel that he was ever really even on it. It was just kind of like known that I guess there was intel that he was on it. So now I haven't seen that it's lifted, but there might be, like, I think people are confused. I don't think anybody knows what to do with this line because you've got Dylan Brooks not being there, being like at least a couple shots extra for Jalen Green because of how much Dylan Brooks shoots. So some of that usage has to go to Green. That's going to like 2 points worth because this is not a team. If he was 11.5, 12.5 and hovering between that here as his line, right? Let me get rid of expected. If you look at his 11.5, 12.5, that's what he's hovering at since he came back from injury on like the 20th of January. So now you're going, okay, he still seems to be on the same minutes limit because he's still basically 11 or 12.5, but he's going up to 2. He's up 2 points to 13 to 14.5 because Dylan Brooks isn't there. So Dylan Brooks is worth like 2 points to the line for him because of how many shots he's taking. So it seems like the market is still saying Jalen Green is still on a big minutes limit here. But because Dylan Brooks is not around, when he does play, he's going to get a lot more shots. And this defense is good, so we can't make it too high. But like, it all does make sense with all those factors coming into play to make this 13 to 14.5. I think it's just like either you have information that Jalen Green is not on the minutes limit and then you feel comfortable betting it, or you just lean into that notion that he's not on a minutes limit and you bet it. But like, other than that, I'm not betting a guy at 20 minutes. And I think Mike is really, really smart to point this one out. Because this is way higher than it's been. And this is where like the model will tell you like, yeah, sell just based on the fact that it's been 2 to 3 points less than this since he came back from injury. So I like the idea there. Anything else in this one before I dip?
Swish is mentioning Gillespie because of Grayson being questionable.
Oh, Grayson's questionable. Yeah, if you want to play with the conjecture there, if you want to like lean into that as well, right? You want to play the injury report game. 13, I guess for Swish, the question is, and this is what, you know, we talk about all the time, is like with Gillespie, the question is like, would you feel comfortable taking this 13.5 if Grayson Allen plays? Maybe, you know. I'm sorry, I was reading Fred's comment because he's been on Harbor for a while. Yeah, that might be his chalk. That would be so chalky. I just like the comment. Ooh, yeah, let's get to the Wizards and Pacers. We got to get down into the muck here and start talking about like this is such a SwishLand game right here. Let's get to this Indy Washington. Who are the two teams that give everything up all of the time? Oh, awesome. These two teams. All right, so let's start over here with Wash. I don't know who I like more in this one, but I did bet Trey Johnson because that's what we do here on the Land Your Bets SwishLand network here.
Yeah, my note on Trey Johnson was, first off, I can't not bet Trey Johnson over 13.5 points on principle.
Yeah, exactly. Not going to not. Yeah, this is just pulling up the most recent projections here with the added news. So tough to gauge who's going to play. I think Sar's out too. We got to rule that out. So yeah, now that we have Vukcevic probably starting, but we still, it looks like still like the projections like him, even though there's a bit confusion on the minutes. So Vukcevic, let's pull him up real quick. Yeah, but I think what we're looking for here and what Chang is bringing up is like we have to bet a center against the Pacers. So how are we going to do this? And this would be potentially the guy. Obviously, Marvin Bagley's not around. We're not going to have any data on this guy. What am I talking about? There's nothing to hold us to it. I think it's a smart look. I'm not sure what if you might have to wait to see stuff come up too. I think Chang's sort of inherently mentioning that in what he's saying. But I did hit Trey Johnson. That hasn't moved at all. Not worried about it. I took him 14.5, and I'm fine with it. And then Vukcevic is not up. Is that what I just saw? Yeah, he's not up yet. All right, so we'll see. Yeah, just keep an eye on it because he just came across in the starting lineup, and so he is going to get lined. Hopefully. I mean, there's like 10 minutes till tip. So let's just see if there's anything at the bottom here that would be interesting to talk about. Man, not totally. Any of these games interest you? These last three before we dip out?
I will say I did take something in the Magic.
Okay.
Kings game. I was going to do the R8, and I still think it hits for Suggs, but I actually just took the assists. Over 6.5.
Interesting. Jalen Suggs.
Yep. The RA has been an absolute wagon for me. I've been on this since 7.5.
Is the assist 6.5?
Yeah, it's 6.5 plus money. I think that's a bet and a half.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely gone. It's continued to go up, and the question is just like against the Kings, do you think it's still not high enough? And obviously Franz is not around at this point. Did Franz play last game at all? Yeah, he played and then got hurt and then left.
He's
but yeah,
out indefinitely.
yeah. So this is a case of a consistent hit rate. So like, yes, the adjusted closing line is here, but look at the expected. Like this is where you can sort of go, okay, right? What this model does is tell you what is a real number and what is just sort of math, is just just a number. It's just noise. It's info versus noise. And so like we see this 6.5 for him, and we're like, most people would just go, that's too high. It's been 5.5, 5.5. Over here was 4.5. Well, we've been known that this is too low at 4.5, right? That's why we've been betting it. So now the question is 6.5 too high? Just based on what it's been recently, it's going to tell you to sell. But if you look at the expected stuff, it's still higher than the lines that he's getting at 5.5. Even 6.5, you'd still feel comfortable taking because he's gotten enough potential assists that you should warrant a 9 assist projection for him. So this delta, the more space you have between the green line and the blue line here, the better you're going to feel about taking a bet, whether it's an under because the green is all the way down here or an over because the green is all the way up here. If you believe in what you've seen recently, keep riding it. And that's basically what Matty said in a much more succinct way than the long ass way it just took me to say it. So, all right, let's see.
I think the double is live for Suggs too at plus 500, 5-1.
I love that. 5-1.
I think it's live.
I'm with it. I couldn't get there with anything in this game. I want to take Maxime now that our boy is out for a bit, Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
So Dylan Cardwell is out and Maxime is still, but he's high, right? Is it still 8? Yeah, it's 8.5, 12.5. He's been doing all right. The Jazz are not as easy of a matchup for bigs as you might think, but 12.5 on the points is a sell, looks like, and the 8.5 board. Yeah, this is just as higher than it's been consistently. He's been like when we can get 6 or 7.5 on the rebounds and stuff. But maybe you like it because of the Cardwell addition. I don't trust this freaking Kings team. I don't want to bet on it. So let me stop talking about it. All right, I am gonna have to roll here in a sec. I got the daughter home sick from daycare. Just mad fun. But if you do want to jump in, you can still get that week trial. Just trial things out, test it out for yourselves if you want to test out the dash. Also have the free stuff here on the dash. There's gonna be so much free stuff. You can see the betting demo is going to be a shorter version of this. You can do everything you can on the demo. Everything you do on the dashboard, you can do on the demo version as well. It's just for one game a night. So check that out on landyourbets.com. And the free betting edges here are posted every day. These also go out in email. So if you're interested in like getting an email that gives you this information each day, you can get that as well. These are like the free edges right here where it's like, okay, these guys have a big difference in their projection versus the line. These guys have been really hot lately and their recent stuff is much higher than what their line is in this game, for example, right? Like Jared Allen's 270% deviation from the 14.6, and then some matchup stuff. So this is all available on there. If you guys want it, like I said, all that free stuff is up on the site and the free Discord. The link is in the description of the video. I got distracted by Guy Santos. I just picked him up in fantasy. So let's talk about him. This Boston team is so miserable to play against, Matty? Do we still bet him?
I'm betting him, yeah. I didn't bet him the last game when he went under, but I will be betting him today.
Will you give me a Guy Santos train is boarding now and then do a choo-choo?
I can't do that now. I don't want to jinx it. No, I think 10.5. I think that when I faded him, he was at 12.5 against the Spurs.
Yeah.
He's at 10.5 again. I think he's probably gonna have shots tonight. So
Chang is gonna heed caution in this game against everything.
Yeah,
unless he was just being devil's advocate for our conversation last night and doesn't actually believe what he was saying. But I think he believes what he was saying because it's right on, which is this team is slow as hell. First of all, Boston is miserable to play against because they play by far the slowest pace. They've been at a 93 pace for the last 10 games on average. For the record, 93 pace was like slow in 1998. It's definitely slow now. So that sucks. And then they're 8th in defense. They don't miss very many shots because they're 4th in offense, and they're the 7th best rebounding team. So they're freaking miserable to play against, rebounding, scoring, whatever. But Guy Santos is a G.
I will be betting this personally. I'm putting my I think I'm 9-0 right now on my Guy Santos reads. I'm risking my 9-0 on it.
Wow, he's putting the title weight on the line. Everything looked low to me. And it looks low because it is low because this opponent sucks. And you can see like 2.5 assists is what it's been at, but 2.5 against this team is tough. So nice. Yeah. You got the vote of confidence from the boy.
Absolutely.
Right, that's what's up. But yeah, this game against Boston is gonna be a rock fight. There's some unders available in this one, but everything's low for a reason, so might be staying away from that one. But all right, I'm gonna roll just like a minute or two early, but definitely make sure if you want to come into that free Discord, we're gonna be in there. Just tag us. It's at JL Boogie, at Matty, at the Matt Stevens.
Yeah, I don't know what my Discord
I know, I don't
is.
remember either.
Yeah, if you're in the Discord, you'll just type at M and you'll see my name. So
yeah, at M, that's fair. At Matty Stevens, he's everywhere in there. Or Matthew Stevens, I think that's what it is. Or Matthew Steven. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Anyway, that's it. We'll be back tomorrow. I should also make please do like the video. I didn't tell you guys enough because I'm just doing other shit, but like please do that. It's super helpful. And I will be back. We'll be back tomorrow on Friday. So I can now update this banner here to say that we're back on Friday tomorrow with the show because we got another fatty slate, right? So we'll be back tomorrow. I'll have a video tonight for that slate as well as soon as we deal with this kid. So I appreciate everybody tuning in, man. Yeah, just give it a like on your way out. Definitely check out the subscribe if you want to get in there and make sure you don't miss any of these videos. And so we see you next. Happy betting.